Imagine a people being so mentally enslaved that they're incapable of seeing that their minds have been distorted to think in ways that are against their own self interest and instead in ways that serve the interests of their enemies. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that they now insist that it's ourselves that are our worst enemies, instead of our true worst enemies that invaded us, brutally colonized us, stolen our wealth, enslaved us, raped us, maimed us, castrated us, still falsely marginalizes and denigrates our image, miseducates our children, give themselves credit for most of our inventions, wrongly mass incarcerates us, gives us longer and harsher prison sentences, and that have murdered countless millions of us throughout history. In spite of these many horrific facts proving the opposite, our people are so mentally enslaved that many insist that it's ourselves that are our worst enemies. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that they insist on believing the idiotic statement that we made the N-word ours and that using it now ridiculously empowers us. Moreover, their minds so distorted that many even ridiculously insist that it's now within their rights to call themselves by the N-word. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that their men routinely calls their women bitches and hoes without giving it a second thought. Moreover, a people so mentally enslaved that their women also call themselves bitches and hoes without giving it a second thought. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that they now admire rappers that gets upon global media platforms denigrating, marginalizing, and criminalizing our own image before the entire world. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that they no longer care to liberate themselves anymore. They merely just want a more comfortable footing within the system of white supremacy. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that the heroes are no longer revolutionary-minded black leaders, but are now instead athletes that tosses around a rubber ball and a leather ball to entertain the masses while making billions for white team owners. Moreover, that money that's invested directly into the system of white supremacy. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that they get their morals from a book written by the most immoral people they've ever encountered. Moreover, a people so mentally enslaved that they're incapable of realizing that a Bible that strongly condones slavery, written by history's proven most ungodliest group of people, and that was brutally beaten into the blood-soaked minds of our ancestors by their ungodly enslavers, is absolutely disqualified from containing the true words of God. For these are not the conditions by which the true words of an infallible God would be introduced to a people. Imagine a people so mentally enslaved that they've totally normalized their idiotic beliefs and unintelligent ways of thinking. Therefore, they are psychologically blinded from seeing their mental change. These are the ones that aren't able to understand the validity of the words that I'm now speaking. Our people are so mentally enslaved by the white society that telling the truth now literally offends millions. Nonetheless, I refuse to endorse idiotic beliefs in order to hold on to mentally enslaved black friends and family members. If you sincerely believe the idiotic ideology that we made the N-word ours and that using it now ridiculously empowers us, or that a Bible that was brutally beaten into the minds of our ancestors by their ungodly enslavers now somehow provides a path to our salvation, or if you believe that we're being controlled by silly slave syndrome myth, which would be the least effective method used for controlling generations of people, then your minds have been dumbed down and mentally enslaved by the white society. It's the only explanation for you believing things that now insult your own intelligence. A speaker of truth has no friends, African proverbs. I'd rather travel alone on a path of the truth than to walk and stand among those of my people that are so mentally enslaved by the white society that they're incapable of seeing their mental change. Furthermore, in seeking a path of truth, at least I would have spent my life in a worthy cause. So if I fail, at least I fail while daring greatly. so that my place will not be remembered amongst those of my people that are so mentally enslaved by the white society that they refuse to critically think for themselves. Therefore, they go from their cradles to their graves, never knowing the truth. Therefore, having lived their entire lives being the white man's fools, and their minds were never truly their own. Those who know must teach African proverb. We must teach the truth whether we're hated for it, berated for it, blocked for it, or unfriended for it. We must teach the truth whether it fills the room or clears it out. We are called to awaken the sleeping sheep, not to entertain the goats. The African slaves of the 21st century are those who cannot unlearn the many mental enslaving lies that have been indoctrinated into their minds by the white society. They lied to us from the beginning, and they lied to us about everything. When we first encountered them, we never knew such deceit existed, so we fell for their lies. But nowadays, we are now walking around with computers in our pocket while insisting on believing the lies that they taught our enslaved ancestors. Therefore, to insist on believing their idiotic lies is therefore your mental enslavement is now a choice. Research the facts and free your mind. One love and peace.